Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Felissa Rose, who is a horror icon and star of such great films as Sleepaway Camp and Caesar and Otto's... I can't remember the end of that.
Well, there are two, Summer Massacre and Deadly Christmas.
That's it. And so how are you today, Felissa?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know Camp Dread, which is a future film you're in, comes out fairly soon, I think, too, doesn't it?
It actually just came out, and it had an April 15th release by Image Entertainment, and it's doing really well. It's a great camp slasher, something I'm familiar with, and it stars the amazing Eric Roberts and the beautiful Danielle Harris.
All right, so was Sleepaway Camp the original, your first film you were in?
Yes, Sleepaway Camp was the first film I had ever done. I had just turned 13 years old, and it was the first audition I ever had for a movie, so it was the first on a lot of levels. And
with that being said, your first film being a slasher film, what was that like being 13 and on the set of a slasher film?
Well, you know, I always try to preface it, you know, when I speak about Sleepaway Camp, and a lot of folks are wondering, you know, how did you wind up doing such a, you know, crazy horror movie at such a young age? But when you're making a movie, it's so completely different when you're actually on the set and, you know, filming, because it's out of sequence and you're not doing the effects, you know, right there in the moment. So I was shielded as a minor. It was a SAG movie, so that's Screen Actors Guild, and they protect young people from doing anything harmful or crazy. And it was really like being at summer camp. I mean, we were all really good friends immediately, and it was at the end of summer, so it was beautiful weather, and we would, you know, do everything you do at camp. It was just one of the best times of my life, absolutely. And, you know, it wasn't harmful in any way, you know, in terms of being a kid and all the things that were in the film. Never really felt like they happened. So, no blood, no knives, you know.
Now, I read a rumor, and I'm not sure if this has been confirmed or not, that this is going to spoil Sleepaway Camp a little bit, but it is a, 30-year-old movie now?
Yes, 32 years old, yes.
I heard a rumor that Jonathan Tiersten's hands were the ones instead of yours for killing people. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Yeah, no, Jonathan, again, being that, you know, I was 13 and a girl, you know, my hands were quite small and a bit on the feminine side, so they just really wanted a little bit of a, you know, more masculine hand, and Jonathan did the hand. He was the stand-in hand. He did all of the killings, and, you know, apparently he loved it. It was fun for him, so that was cool that they got to use his hand.
And also, at what age did you actually get to see the finished version of Sleepaway Camp? And more, not importantly, but moreover, what was your thoughts of the shocking twist ending?
Well, I took my 8th grade class to the premiere. It premiered in my hometown, and so all of the kids in my class, we all went to see it. And I have to say, I mean, it was shocking, you know. Again, once I saw the film all put together, it was like, that's what we were doing? Because it looked so totally different from what I read off the page or what I actually thought we were doing while we were filming. It, you know, it was dark and creepy and weird, and it had a lot of, although I probably didn't really pick up on it as much as I know about it today, the homoerotic kind of subtext. So yeah, it was definitely like an eye opener. At the very end, I was just blown away by that kind of moment. It was seeing your head on that body, because they had made a mask of my face and put it on a young guy. It was definitely strange, and I just sat there in shock for a little bit. But I thought it was really quite impressive, you know, being that it was 1982 and that moment was was definitely new for cinema. It was cool.
That moment has actually been the one I've seen top the list of weird endings to horror films.
Yeah, it's one. I mean, I was 13. It's like a 13-year-old girl, shocker, spoiler head, with a penis, and just it was new. I mean, you really didn't see that every day in film. So it was cool.
Now,
I thought it was really, really cool.
After you did Sleepaway Camp, there were 2 sequels that you were not involved with. Is there a reason you weren't involved with them?
Well, I sat down with Michael Simpson and we read some of the script together. And quite honestly, I mean, I didn't take to the character of Angela the way it was drawn out in 2 and 3. She's a lot more kind of smart ass, and it was a different tone, the sequels, than the original. So he, I think, already had a relationship with Pamela Springsteen and thought about her for the part. And I had just gotten admitted into NYU School of the Arts early decision. So I sort of wanted to put my studies, ahead of filming. And it sort of all worked out perfectly because Pamela is amazing in part 2 and 3. And I just, I went and studied and got to work in New York City on the stage for many years, and it was just like the way it was supposed to, happen.
All right, and then you did eventually make your return to a spoiler of a film that's probably about 5 years old now, with Return to Sleepaway Camp?
Oh, Return to Sleepaway Camp, yep. We went back to do that. Mm-hmm.
Now...
That was like...
Oh, go ahead.
We filmed that about... in 2011, almost... 2003, sorry. About 11 years ago.
Okay.
I believe that's going on 11 years.
Dang, I haven't either. Now, what was it like being in the prosthetics that you were in? Because it looked like you had to sit in a makeup chair for quite a while.
Oh my gosh, I was in the makeup chair for a minimum of 6 hours every day that I was in that makeup. And don't get me wrong, I loved the character. I loved that Robert created that kind of, crazy, mysterious, bizarre sheriff. But yeah, it was a lot of, makeup and prosthetic and what have you to look the way I did. Although some people might think it looked like me, so it was a lot of fun. I have to say, my mom kept saying to me when we were getting ready to film, "Are you sure you're not going to be upset, being in that kind of makeup and that kind of character?" And I thought, hell no, that's why you want to act. It's like you take on these different kinds of personalities and people, and that's how you grow as an actor. So for me, it was very challenging, and it was a terrific part. I was really, really happy to go do that.
Then, what did you think of how Return to Sleepaway Camp turned out, and the long delays with it? Because it didn't get released till 2011, I don't think.
I think it was 2008.
2008, that's right.
2008. Well, I personally, and I know there's a lot of, I go to all the horror conventions and I make friends with so many people, and we have these discussions, and, ultimately, people love to, find out what I thought about Return to Sleepaway Camp, and quite honestly, I loved it. I felt that it had a lot of the same tone as the original. I thought it was campy and cheesy and fun, and kids being, ridiculous and picking on each other. And, I thought it had that same kind of vibe. I know people were kind of hesitant about the Alan character, do you want him to be killed or don't you? With Angela, I think it was different because she was shy, she was quiet, she seemed sweet, and you hated everyone who picked on her. She had no retaliation. Whereas with Alan, he was an a-hole, It's like he was just, you kind of wanted him to get beaten up. So I think that's where a lot of the problems came, but I still enjoy it. I still think it was a lot of fun, and I think the delays were just, natural with, in filmmaking, you can be in post for a long time, and there was a lot of CGI stuff that was happening, and music, and, a lot of the stuff in post took some time, but I really think it's a fun movie. Look, is it Citizen Kane? Is it this Academy Award, kind of epic film? No, but for a cheesy kind of low-budget horror movie, I think it did a really good job at captivating an audience with its fun and its crazy kills.
Now, I've heard another rumor, but I heard this one a few years back, that there's going to be another Sleepaway Camp, possibly in 3D. Would you happen to know anything about that, or is it a no comment?
I'll always comment. I mean, I think, with the Blu-ray release coming out on May 27th, there's a lot of Sleepaway Camp kind of at the forefront of everyone's mind in terms of the horror genre. So I think there's so many kind of rumors, like, is there a remake? Is there a new installment? Is there a 3D, a reunion? I think Robert would love to do something, but right now, there's nothing, materializing, because it's always ultimately about the money. So, if they're trying to find the funding or the distribution, that's what's happening right now. But I think that he would love to get something going, especially maybe for the 35th anniversary. I can come in, with my walker, and my hearing aid. What did Aunt Martha say? No. We'll see. Hopefully it would be really cool, and I think people would be very receptive.
Now, before I let you go, you mentioned the Blu-ray version of that. Yes. What are your thoughts on a collector's edition Blu-ray being made of this little horror film that you did years ago?
I think it's sensational that I could sit here and talk with you 32 years. It's like 32 years to the day, because I auditioned for Sleepaway Camp in 1982, May of 1982. So it's exactly 32 years later that I am talking about a little low-budget horror movie. There is something about this film that it's like the little train that could, Thank you to everybody who supported it, who continues to keep it moving and alive and all that good stuff. I just feel very fortunate and, grateful to people who have, been happy to talk about it, and I think it's great. I think with the internet and with the way digital has, evolved, it's a wonderful experience to have it on Blu-ray. I think we put our heart and souls into the extras. Jeff Hayes got the whole cast together. He does SleepawayCampMovies.com, and he was the champion in getting Robert. They did a commentary on the East Coast, and he got a lot of the cast members together. So I'm really excited for everybody to see the documentary and to listen to the commentary. Jonathan and I do a commentary with Justin Beam, and it's really, really fun. And it was just a great experience.
Awesome. So, I pre-ordered the copy day one as soon as I heard about it.
Aw, thank you.
No.
I so appreciate that. I wish I could hug everybody, and tell everyone how much I appreciate it, because I really, really do. Just the fact that Sleepaway Camp, it's given me, I always say it's given me a life, it's given me a career, because my husband is a huge fan of Sleepaway Camp and sought me out, which is crazy, but Sleepaway Camp is like this really bizarre animal that just keeps on going.
Now, is there anything you want to plug before I let you go?
Well, I'm very thrilled with the way Camp Dread turned out. Harrison Smith, my very good friend, directed me in that. He wrote and directed it. And we have a new one coming out called Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard, that's coming out, that stars Billy Zane, Misha Barton, and Dee Wallace. And that's going to be, that's an incredible zombie film. I just produced my own film called No Solicitors with Eric Roberts, Kim Poirier, and Beverly Randolph. And my new site that's designed by the amazing Andrew is www.felissarose.com. So please check out my site. It's brand new, and just hearing comments is wonderful for us. We just want to keep it updated. All of the interviews I do, all of the conventions I'll be at, and the films that I'm working on will all, constantly be updated on there. I'll be working on a new film with Jonathan Tiersten called The Undead, and keeping myself out of trouble. I guess that's it. So thank you to everybody for all of the support and the love. It's right back at you. And I'm doing these things with my store. Like, I'm trying to, I donate to the Children's Hospital, so a lot of the funds that come in from there, when you buy an autographed picture, I personalize it. And now I'm doing things like every day, every week there's something new. Like, I'll do phone calls. Today I'm calling people. The first 5 people who bought yesterday, I call them. Next week will be like a Skype call. Another day will be a live chat answering any questions, So we have a lot of things happening with the website.
All right.
And the store.
That is awesome. I thank you for taking
you.
time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate your time.